Horsey, the son of Honor Code, who earned over $2 million in just 11 starts, is here and ready to do business. Horsey is here to do business. Horsey is here to do business.
All right, here we go again. First of all, I want to say stop that. Good night and welcome to this platform. If you've never been here before, this is where we talk to a lot of interesting people from the horse racing industry, if you want to call it that. And we speak with jockeys, trainers, grooms. We speak to everyone pretty much who's involved, fans, handicappers, the whole works, the whole nine. And tonight we have another special guest. But before we get into that, let's say if you haven't subscribed yet to the YouTube channel, please go ahead and please subscribe, or please give us a like, help support the channel so that we can grow, introduce more audience and more people to the platform. It really helps, quite honestly. And tonight, I'm really excited because you guys know we've already promoted him. We got a young man with a ton of confidence. Speaking with him backstage just a little bit, and just to hear him speak, you know, is to me is quite rewarding to know a young man. He has an edge, and he has an edge on many. And let's hope that he can perhaps bring it to the forefront, and he gets to show his talent. Let the people know that he's quite a star in the making. It's very rare that you have someone who have that kind of confidence and also can ride, and that makes a world of difference to out there, to the jockey industry, the different levels of confidence jockeys possess. So without any further delay, man, let's bring him on stage, the one and only TeShawn Hazelwood. Welcome, man.
Hi, good night, Derek. How you doing?
Hey, look, man, I'm good, man. I'm just happy and excited to have you on this platform tonight. It's an honor to have you here. How you been, man? How you doing?
I'm keeping good. On you?
You know, I'm good. Like we discussed, I'm just here in the cold weather.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
I'm all right. I'm all right, you know. So let's talk a little bit about you, man. Let people know exactly, you know, who TeShawn Hazelwood is. I know people in Barbados know, but there's the whole world is much bigger than Barbados, so people want to know who you are, man. So give us a little bit of history on you.
Okay, my name is TeShawn Hazelwood. I'm a jockey from Barbados. I also won the jockeys title last year in Barbados, champion apprentice and champion rider. And I just moved my top to the US, give it a shot. Safi Joseph invited me here.
Hey, look, was that your first time heading to the US, or you been there before scouting, or how that
I've been to the US on vacation.
And while you were there, did you visit any of the tracks or anything like that?
No, I never visited the track before.
Oh, okay. So I mean, you went on shopping sprees and shopping trips, but now
and just relax, you know.
Now you're on a different mission, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now let me tell you something, man. A little bit of background on yourself. I read and did some research and see that you're from Christchurch, right?
Yeah.
And where you're from, is it a big racing community?
No, actually, in Christchurch, I think I'm the only jockey from Christchurch.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, maybe somebody is out there can probably chat in the comments or say something. if there's other jockeys from Christchurch,
No,
you
well, I
know.
can't. I know at the moment right no since I left, but I know for a while I was the only jockey living in Christchurch.
Now, being the only jockey living in Christchurch, like, what does that do for you? That did you know start thinking about that and realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm the only one?
Yeah, but the funny thing is that I only realized that just now when you brought it up. But back home, I never thought of it.
So, hang on a second. So, being the only one, I mean, I know that probably where you're from is not that far from the garrison. Obviously, Barbados ain't that big,
That
but
big, right?
did you feel any ways just jumping into the colony at the garrison?
Me being like not from the
Not from the
a
area.
area where a lot of jockeys are from.
That's correct.
No, I never felt any different to anyone. No,
Well,
it felt
that's a
normal
plus
to
then.
me.
It
Mm-hmm.
feels pretty normal, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, I read that you. No, wait, hang on a second. So at what age did you decide? Look, man, I want to be a jockey.
Um, from honestly, from the time I knew myself as a small kid growing up, I always knew that I wanted to be a jockey. I would go to school fairs. My mom would take us, me and my brother, and as a kid, probably like 7, 8 years old, you go to school fair. All you want to do is probably gonna buy snacks and go on the little rides and what's not. I would take all my money and just ride horses. Yeah, I
Really?
want. Oh yeah, no snacks, no toys. I just wanted to use my money and just ride the horses, and that's it.
So was it that that someone from your family was taking you to the garrison, or you watching on TV? Like,
Mm,
where you just riding horses? Like, where did that come from?
um, I just fell in love with the horses from the first time I saw a horse, and what grew my love for horses too is that back home in Barbados, I also have a pet horse by the name of Smokey. I had Smokey now for 14 years.
Wow, man.
Yeah, and I remember as a kid growing up, I would see Smokey pass through the neighborhood, and I would always tell the guy at the time, I want to ride Smokey, and he would show me it, and he would walk me all through the neighborhood, and my love just grew for horses even more from the time I met Smokey.
Oh, wow, man. That's a beautiful story, man.
Hmm.
And I guess to have the love for the animal and also the love for the game, that's a plus. You know what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying?
Hmm.
Hey, look, I know you got lots of people backing you down in Barbados and so forth. So I know there's a lot of people that excited and want to know how you're doing and what are you doing and so forth. But we're gonna get into that. But
Yeah,
but
for
before
sure.
that, we just kind of like giving the audience a little bit of history on you and
Hmm.
warming them up to this young man and his talent.
Yeah.
Now, I read something here and I was like, who is Corey Lane, and what role did the horse charity riding school play in your development as a jockey?
Well, what I can tell you, the horse charity and Corey Lane, those are two different farms.
Mm-hmm.
I started out with Corey Lane at the Nature Farm Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of the um the riding school Corey operate. And I started out there actually not even knowing how to ride a horse. And I would always nag and nag and nag Corey all the time. Corey, I want to be a jockey. I need some help. And eventually it was me and like three other guys. He started something on a Sundays called Jockey Academy,
Mm-hmm.
where he would teach us the basics and what's not, like how to trot the horses, how to canter, how to steer, the basics. And we then would obviously as time go by we would get better and better. But to gain my jockey license and my exercise license, I had to go to the horse charity, which Robert Pierce
That's
at the
right.
time operate, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I really learned about the riding on a whole different aspect. Yeah, and then received my exercise license and jockey license from Robert. My first few rides actually came from Robert as well.
But before we get into Robert, because I was going to get to that, but I just want the audience to know just the role that Corey Lane played in your life, leading up to going into to Pierce's writing
Jockey school.
school and so forth.
Well, on it, what I can say about Corey for sure is like, as I always tell Corey, I don't think I could thank Corey enough
That good,
because,
eh?
I mean, when I really sit down and study how much Corey sacrifice and do for me, like in the early stages and me wanting to be a jockey, I can't thank Corey enough.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't thank Corey enough. I'd be so thankful because in a way, he's the foundation. I would say. Yeah, he he responsible for the position I am today in a sense because he's who started it. Yeah, without him, I don't know where would I go.
Interesting. And in Barbados, I guess you don't have agents and
No,
persons like
mm-mm,
that.
no agent.
Now, I guess I can talk about that right now. Now,
Yeah,
does that make a difference now that you're in the U.S.? How having an agent or not having an agent?
yeah, it do make a big difference because like, in Barbados, the horse population at the racetrack is not as much as in the US. So you can bounce around from barn to barn. You could get in contact with the trainers, and you could basically be your own agent in Barbados. But when you have horses up here in the US flying in from other tracks, a whole wide variety of horses up here, you need a helping hand, and I think that's the role the agent plays.
Interesting, interesting. Now, does it make it a little bit tougher on you when you were in Barbados, not having an agent, but having to deal with different trainers, owners? I mean, how do you manage to get your mounts anyways? By through the trainer or through the owner?
Well, mm, well in the beginning, I would say like in the beginning when it first started out, I would I would have to go through the trainers and I would just make some phone calls and as time go by and they actually see what they can do in terms of like winning races and the confidence build, it get to a stage where the owners and the trainers will be calling me. Sometimes I would not even have to call them, or they will be calling me. Yeah.
You know what that is telling me. That alone is telling me, there's so much speculations about horse racing and what's involved and so forth. The biggest thing that I'm finding out is the relationship with horse racing, the
Hmm.
relationships that the owners, trainers, jockeys, everyone who's involved. Relationships are most important. And
Yep.
you
Very.
find that that's also.
Yeah, I have a very good relationship, I would say, with all the owners and trainers in Barbados, actually. I mean, in horse racing, some owners, everybody's have their rider, like basically you got their own clientele.
Mhm.
Like some owners would ride certain riders and what's not, but I had a good relationship with all the owners and trainers in Barbados.
Oh wow, man! And you've been only riding how many years professionally? 2, 3 years.
Professionally, no, I started race riding
2016,
in,
right?
yeah, 2016 in Barbados. Yeah, I was given my first race day ride in 2016 in Barbados. Yeah,
And to date, I know that you're not you don't you're not a bug now in the States.
no, mm-mm.
They cast you as a journeyman, which kind of
Yeah,
puts you a little bit behind. So now you
mm-hmm.
gotta kind of play catch
Work
up.
double. Yeah,
Exactly. But in Barbados, you've won how many races career wise?
50. I think it's either 54 or 56. I'm not. Yeah, either 54 or 56. Yeah.
Man, that's that's a lot more races than one of my friends, and he's been running a lot longer than you. Hey, big up my friend. You know who I'm talking about, but I'm not gonna call any names. People
Calling
get
name.
angry. But
Hmm.
but listen, hey, look, 50 something first place finishes. That's like a seasoned veteran. I can see the confidence beaming in you, and I saw you writing Barbados through YouTube and so forth, and I
Hmm.
can see that you definitely got that confidence. Did that writing school from Robert Pierce did that help you build that confidence?
Well, I would. Mm, my confidence really came like the more road. Yeah, you really get behind what's going on. You start winning races, and yeah, that's really confidence came. Because in the beginning as a jockey, start out riding, and the confidence in up as it would be as you ride more regularly, build confidence. Just like any other thing you do throughout life. Like probably like for instance, when you first start driving, gain your driver's license.
Hmm.
As time go by, you become more confident driving.
That's right. That's right.
Hmm.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing is that you're going to the US and you're starting to see all kind of jockeys right now. I'm pretty
Yep.
sure your awareness is probably popping up and your IQ is bouncing all over the place.
Mhm.
um, but back to Barbados, because we want to stay on your history, and then
Okay.
we'll get to the US because you haven't been there that long. So
Correct.
let's go to Barbados. In Barbados,
Hmm.
you're riding some very good races. What's the most memorable race that you've ridden in?
The most memorable.
Yeah,
Mm.
there's too
I
many
was
races.
yeah a lot, but I would say like one race that I could say will stick with me for I would say forever is when they won the Diamonds International on Jocular.
Mm,
Yeah, on
I
Boxing
see.
Day last year.
Oh wow,
Yeah, that
man.
yeah, I remember that race stick with me because that was the I think me and Ray Williams. I would think it was one in front of him, one win in front of him, or me. He was tight on wins, and me winning that race that helped seal the jockey title.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it was also the feature race on the day too. So
Oh
uh,
man.
yeah, I will never forget that race.
And you won a grade one race down there too, didn't you?
Two Grade One races.
There you go.
Yeah,
Uh, do you remember the? And of course you remember, but I want you to tell the audience
yeah.
the horse and so forth.
My first Grade One winner was on a horse called Hot Stepper in
Hmm.
the BTBA Juvenile Sprint. Trainer Andrew Nunes. Yeah, he trained there. Yeah, that was my first Grade One win, and then the second came with Jock Connect Diamonds International.
No, that's Andrew Nunes. He's the
Andrew,
trainer
yes, Andrew
related to
Nunes.
the
My
other
bad.
famous Nunes.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Andrew Nunes.
Man, you have some good connections.
Yeah,
Um,
I did.
Now, winning those races, did you win as an apprentice, and did you have lighter weight? Is that what happened?
Well, in those feature races, like those graded races, there's no apprentice allowance, so you run with the weight given. Yeah, all horses. The only difference is probably sex allowance. Like the colts will carry more weight than the fillies.
Hmm.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to claim in those races.
Well, I just brought it up for a reason, and that's because just to let people know the caliber of jockey that we're dealing with. Because people may say, okay, well that was lightweight, but you say no,
Yeah.
everybody's even. You had to
Mm-hmm.
have the same amount of weight, uh, but of course, you may have had a better horse. Is that
Yeah.
also true to say?
Well, uh, not. I wouldn't say. Well, some people say the better horse on the day, but I mean, like when you find those races, like those same graded races, I mean, sometimes there will be a field of 12, 7, how many? Don't care how many. Um, all those horses, they got some horses actually come into those races unbeaten as well. So,
Hmm.
and some of them actually clashing against each other for the first time too. So you
No,
really don't
does
know
that make a
how.
difference?
Oh yeah, a big difference because you will know how good a horse is, but you don't know how good it is amongst the others.
No,
Because
that's
you're
true.
running together for the first time.
And in the case like that, usually, is it, you got like 3-year-old, 4-year-olds? Is it a different combination of ages?
Well, for the older horses, well, in jockey's case, for the diamonds, you had horses, yeah, different ages, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old. But for the juvenile sprint that I won, that race was strictly for 2-year-olds.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that was strictly for 2-year-olds.
Hey, look, man, I gotta compliment you on your confidence and being able to just sit here and talk with me, because there's a lot of
Thank you.
people that sometimes don't always have that kind of confidence. And I'm actually speaking with a lot of people now, and I realize there's a lot of young jockeys who I guess because you guys are maybe a little bit younger, so you're more used to media and social media and so forth. You guys kind of embrace this kind of era, so you kind of know exactly what to say, and the camera doesn't look so intimidating. You guys born with the camera, man.
Yeah, I find a lot of people, some like in my age, I find a lot of young adults tend to be a little camera shy.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was like that in the beginning as well, but it just get a little used to it.
Now, I want to ask you that because I want to ask you again. Let's go back to the writing school, and I just wonder because if they aren't doing it, did the writing school help with that, or if they didn't, maybe they can introduce that to the jockeys.
Yeah, we never had the yeah, we never been through that. We just learned that by just getting interviewed and what's not. But we never had that system where we would do like video footage of being interviewed and what's not. We never had that at the radio school.
Well, there you go, Robert Pierce, and whoever else has got a writing school. Maybe it's something that you can introduce. Um, as we all know, horse racing and being a jockey is a lot more than just sitting down on the horse.
Mm-hmm.
A
Yep.
lot of things involved, right? And I got to tell you, I watched your race, your one race in the
Mm-hmm.
at Gulfstream. What was the feeling as you had your ride and so forth? Did you had a feeling that perhaps if you do well here first time out that this could mean something, or did you kind of say, okay, we're just gonna get this one through the door and see where it goes?
Well, honestly, I came into the race with a clear mind. It wasn't nervous or anything. It was just focus on going out there, doing my best, taking care of me and the horse, and try to get to the winners enclosure. Yeah, but it was a real good experience riding among some very good riders, and also like coming from Barbados and actually getting an opportunity to ride in the US. That's something big for me as well.
Now, are you the only Bajan jockey currently at Gulfstream?
Yeah, only Beijing. Yep.
So that means that you're probably learning. You're probably on Duolingo right now, learning to speak Spanish, right?
Yeah, in a sense, yeah, I learned a few things in Spanish as since I've been here, but on the other hand as well, a lot of the workers at the racetrack they also speak English. Yeah, and when I find like one of the workers who can't speak English, I will get one of the other guys to translate for me as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I get around pretty good with them.
That's good. But because the reason why I'm saying that because the Spanish speaking guys at Woodbine, they're already learning how to speak Bajan. They
But that's the funny thing because in Southeast Born as well, I find some of the Spanish guys they be- they speak a little well. They try to let me see what is it like they try. I find that they're picking up a little of our Bajan twang.
uh-huh.
Yeah, I find a few of them starting to do it, and they
That's quite
make me laugh.
interesting.
Pardon?
That's interesting.
Yeah, they make me laugh on mornings just hearing them because it
Yeah,
sounds a little strange.
but
Yeah,
it's
but
fun. It's fun.
it is.
I get that a lot too from some of the people that I run into. Sometimes they they imitate the accent and the
Yeah.
words. And to
It
me, I
it'll be
just think
fun
it's
for
a
those
little bit
guys as well. I mean,
different.
sometimes when we speaking, they would see me and when we having a conversation, I would hear them trying to add in a little Bajan twang in between, and they got me breaking down at work. Yeah, so yeah, it'd be fun, man.
That's good because
Mm-hmm.
work doesn't always have to be all stress, right? So
Correct.
adding a little bit of that helps
Mm-hmm.
for the humor and also for the atmosphere as well, and make it a little bit lighter than all tense stuff.
Yeah.
Now you're working predominantly with Safi Joseph
Mm-hmm.
Jr.
Yeah.
Is it Safi Joseph Jr.? Yeah, Safi
Yeah.
Joseph
In
Jr.
junior, yeah.
He is a junior.
Mm-hmm.
But do you get to work with other trainers as well, or you just that's something that you just can't say right now?
I haven't worked with other trainers as well any other trainers as yet, but I met other trainers. Yeah, like the guy next. I have a trainer next to our barn. Yeah, I met him because the way I met him is because a day I was heading out on a horse with Safi, and he said morning to me, and I said morning. So when he heard my accent, he asked me if I'm from Barbados. I told him yes, and he then told me he been to Barbados already, and he and he stayed at Sandy Lane Hotel, and he came in to see the Gold Cup.
Hmm.
Yeah, and he then tell me, one day, Tashawn, you can come over by our barn and just give me a shout.
Now, is this the first time that Safi Joseph is hearing this, or did you kind of mention that to him before?
No, I haven't mentioned it. This is the first time Safi will be hearing it.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure then he'll probably have a tighter grip now and make sure he doesn't.
Yeah, that was
you
like
know,
the second. I think that was like the second week with me being out here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, do you get because once you start writing in the mornings and people start seeing you and so forth, I'll be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've noticed is that the horse people are very sharp, so they can recognize the jockeys and or the riders, and they
Yeah.
recognize the horses. So, have you got turned a little bit of heads lately, and people are saying hello to you and so forth because
Yeah, a
that's going to
lot.
be important.
Mm-hmm. A lot. Yeah, like when I first started out, I was I wasn't familiar with the trainers and some of the riders and what's not. But I've been out here since October. So I when I like for instance when I head around the track, like the outriders, they get familiar with me, some of the trainers, some of the grooms, and they'll just be showing me and what's not. Yeah, it's starting to know the people around the track.
Wow, man. First time in the US of A, and you had your one mount already, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure you must be very hopeful that another one will come around soon. But
Yeah.
uh, you're at a tough time of the year also.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And did anyone tell you that that this is the winter now, and there's going
Ye-
to be a lot of
Well, I
people coming
actually
down
knew
there?
that even before I leave Barbados.
Hmm.
Yeah, Safi told me that even before he told me, but to show join the winter meet. Yeah, well we call it the championship meet, but which is the winter meet. He tell me it gets tough because all the big riders are in town. Like for instance, Irad Ortiz, his brother Jose, John Velasquez, Junior Alvarado, Paco Lopez, Luis Saez, Tyler Gaffleon. Yeah, so there's a bomb squad of riders down here at the moment.
Wow, man. Did you ever at some point you wish that one of those names were also from Barbados as well?
Mm, but I'm working on me being the first agent to be among these guys. Yeah, working
I
on it.
love the confidence, man. We were talking earlier about jockeys, and even though you respect the jockeys, we all
Mm-hmm.
respect the legends and everything, but we want to beat them. We want to be just as
Oh
good as
yeah,
them, or even
just as
better.
good, or even better. Mm-hmm. Even better.
Now, speaking of that, and uh, you know, when March comes around, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be Gold Cup um, time in Barbados. I
Yeah.
know you're probably not looking at that because you're working your tail off in the U.S. of A. But if
Trust me,
someone
I
gives
am
you
looking
that
at it.
call, oh, you are
Yeah.
looking at it.
Oh yeah. I think about it every day, although I'm out here.
And
Yeah.
what are those thoughts, my friend? What are you thinking?
That if I get a go cut ride, I would ask Safi for the time, to head back to just ride in the go cut.
But hang on a minute, doesn't Safi isn't he sending some horses down?
Yeah, he is. I mean, you might be surprised. I might head down to ride one for him if the opportunity is given to me. Who knows
Are
how the
you
future holds?
hinting that you might be coming down for the Gold Cup and riding for Safi Joseph Jr.?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying if I get an opportunity to ride in the go cut, whether it's for Safi or any other owner, I just saying that I will be heading to Barbados.
Would
But
that be a conflict of interest if you work right now? You're working with Safi, and
hmm
then you don't get the call for his horses, but you get a call from somebody else.
I
Is
mean,
that a
it happens
conflict?
like that sometimes.
It just happens like that.
Yeah, because what happens in the horse racing business, a trainer might want to ride, but you want to prefer someone else. Hmm.
Ah.
That's how it goes sometimes.
I'm very impressed that you are fully up to scale on that. And I mean, I guess every jockey would know this, but I'm the amount of confidence and the way how you approach it with so much professionality.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed by that. We spoke earlier and we were talking a little bit about that, and
Hmm.
that's pretty cool that you understand the business and
Yeah, and that's
just
be the most
understand that.
important thing to understand it, because I mean, as a rider, in the beginning, it was hard. Like you would you would know that, well, the owners is who pay the bills. They really and truly have the final say, but sometimes it just don't go in your favor. I mean, you'll be getting on a horse all morning, preparing this horse, and you would think you would get it to ride on the race day, and the owner would be like, "Yeah, I want this rider to ride my horse instead." The trainer might want you, but the owner says, "Well, I want the other rider." And sometimes that's how it goes, and that's just something you have to accept as well.
Good, good. I've heard a lot of good things about you. I just have to tell you that. Being asking people leading up to this
Hmm.
conversation, and I've heard only good things about you. I really can see why they say those good things. So keep it up,
Hmm.
and keep it going. Now, this
Yeah,
time of the
appreciate that.
year, this is Christmas time, and there's the Boxing Day racing, and do you
Yeah,
miss that?
yeah, I will be missing the boxing day. I wouldn't be home for Christmas this year. Yeah,
Hmm.
this would be my first Christmas away from the family.
Wow, man.
Hmm.
But you have a daughter down there,
Yeah, she's in Barbados as well. Yeah.
and
Hmm.
I guess this time of the year, I guess you would miss her and miss the company, miss the.
Well, I would have not only this time of the year. I mean, like, I miss them every day, every minute of the day. Because coming from living, cause my daughter live with me in Barbados as well. Yeah, she and my girlfriend and my mom, yeah, we all live together. So coming from like living with them for all these years and then just pick up and move to the US and you by yourself. You think about them because they've been a part of your everyday living for some time.
Yes, of course. I mean, who wouldn't? You've
Yeah.
gone from the family that's together, from
Mm-hmm.
the pupa is
Yep.
gone. You're
Yeah.
gone from the household. So
Yeah. I
but it's
left
it's
everything
all for
behind,
good
but
cause.
it's for the better.
That's right. That's correct. Very, very, very much so. Speaking of that, sometimes I speak with jockeys and I speak with
Mm-hmm.
people involved in the racing, and I've always wondered about that. Does having children at an early age as a jockey, does it hinder you or does it make you work harder?
Well, it makes you work harder. Yeah, I believe not only in the jockey business, but I think the moment you get a child, I think the child motivates you because you don't want to see a child suffer, so they motivate you even more. Yeah, but
Correct.
right now my daughter, she even pushes me even more. I mean, I used to push myself hard in the beginning. I even push myself even harder now for her and the family.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm friends with a few jockeys who have daughters. This is quite interesting. Yeah, a lot of them got daughters,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and they feel the same way. You know, they love spending time with their children,
Yeah.
and that's a really good example for a lot of people. Even though I guess out there people have their own sayings about
Yep.
others, right? But these
Yeah.
are leading examples of young men looking after their own and very happy to be with their children, especially their daughters.
Yep.
Now, what's the life like in Florida, working with Safi Joseph Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of clips on him, and he looks pretty vibrant. He looks like a hot shot. Does that rub off on you guys? And you guys zeal that confidence that
We
kind of reflects the whole team?
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll say so. Yeah. Yeah, we'll say so.
And what kind of person is he? Is he very cool to work with?
Yes, I feel a cool person to work with. I get along with him really good. I can't speak for others, but I can speak for me. Yeah, me is for the time I've been out here. Yeah, I've been having good energy from him. I should say.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, he is.
Pretty
Like I
cool.
remember my first day being at the races, and I came to the races, and a filly from our barn called our Harper Rose.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was running the states race. I think states race. Yeah, ran for like 200,000 or something like that. And I was on the staircase watching her. So after she won the race, I saw Safi coming down the stairs, and he approached me, and he asked me if how I was doing and if I'm good and what's not. And he invited me over to the winner's circle. He told me, "Come to Sean, come and get in this picture with me."
It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Pretty darn cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, have you guys? Well, hang on. You guys predominantly do your business at Gulfstream, but I know last time there was a bit of controversial stuff happening down in Kentucky and so forth. Are you guys? Will you be moving around in the U.S. of A, or are you staying kind of um, at Gulfstream?
Gulfstream. I'll be moving around in due time. Yeah. I'll be moving around.
You know that can only build your confidence, eh? Because the
Mm-hmm.
more you move around, you meet more people, you get familiar with how things are going.
Yeah.
Your confidence is gonna grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In due time, I'll be moving around. Yeah.
And you got a chance a few weeks back to meet up with Rocco. He was down there for a little bit of
Yeah.
time. Did you
Rocco
see
was
him?
down here for some time. Yeah. He rode three horses out of our barn.
Hmm.
Yeah. He loved down here as well. He enjoyed his stay.
Man, who doesn't love the warm weather? I mean, Rocco is like that's where I am. He's just on the outskirts of where the cold is and so forth. Who doesn't like the warm weather, man?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he enjoyed his time down here, man.
But I gotta tell you, the warm weather, the cold weather makes you work harder. So if you ever get a chance, maybe you can, get yourself in there too and get yourself muddy, just to feel how it feels, just to, the uncomfortness of,
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortableness of being a rider, in those conditions. It makes you
Yeah,
work a little bit harder,
yeah,
just to gain your stripes and so forth.
yeah.
Nobody gives you anything for free.
Mm-mm. You gotta work for it up here.
Now, Barbados, you've had a chance to have a mount down there, and compared to the Garrison Savannah,
Mm-hmm.
Gulfstream Park. Well, I won't say there's a comparison, but because you are right, I have to ask you this: what's the comparison you would say with the Garrison versus Gulfstream Park?
Gulfstream,
Hmm.
a big difference down here. Like Gulfstream Park is so much detail. I would say horse racing down here, horse racing in America in whole, is so much detail compared to back home in Barbados. Barbados, I feel the reason it that way because in the US you have the dirt racing as well. The dirt, you have the torpedo, you have the turf. Well, back home in Barbados, we only run on the turf. Yeah, so yeah, a whole lot of detail in negotiation. I mean, I could get into detail, for instance, if like on the dirt racing, like back home in Barbados, we always question like why the riders ride so wide in the track and what's not in terms of like why they don't save some ground. But I answer, I feel like why the riders ride like that out here, and he was telling me, well, the reason for that is because on the dirt, the less kickback a horse get, the better for the horse, because he asked me how you will feel you running and you just getting mud pelt and hitting your face all the time like that. I said I want like it. He said same for the horse. Yeah, horses. Some horses handle it well and some don't. Can't handle the kickback. So like that's one of the detail for the dirt racing. The less kickback the better, and turf racing is similar to Barbados. You know, turf racing out here is like more patience. Save the more ground you save, the better. Yeah, and he's got track bias out here as well on the dirt. Like some parts of the track will be running better than the other parts of the track. And you will question, like, I mean, this is a whole dirt course. The tractor harrow the track, and what is it? Some areas the track favor better than the others, but it's just to learn. Out here is a whole different setting compared to back home in Barbados.
I got to tell you, that's very important. And I picked
Mhm.
that up just basically hanging out with Rocco down in Ohio, him telling me a few things. And I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm glad that you are able to understand that and
Mhm.
to really consider that for your next few months or for your next several months as time go on, because
Yeah.
those are going to be very important factors in deciding the
Mhm.
race, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the mud, especially. That's a very important one. Watching a few muddy tracks and
Mhm.
how that mud is kicking back.
Yeah.
When you look at the guy who's in front, and then you look at the guys who are behind that,
Behind.
it's a big difference. Real
It
big,
is.
complete big difference right there.
Yeah. I could not like my first week out here. I was like, "Geez, but I really thought I knew a lot about horses in Barbados, but out here, even teach me more, and they still learn every day.
Hmm.
Yeah, I learn so much every day out here, and things are done
Well,
way different out here than in Barbados as well.
in terms of what? Please, let us know what
Um,
you're referring to.
like the training methods, these horses, the paces and what's not, these horses will go through up here. I find back home in Barbados, some trainers don't do it. Yeah, like time, especially time is a big thing out here. How fast a horse work. Like back home, they don't not much trainers really work the horses off time. I find that out here a lot that the time is really important out here as well.
Now, I find that interesting because I always thought that the trainers all relied on that clock, and they solely relied on that clock. I didn't realize that that was the case unless they're not saying that. They're kind of
Yeah,
just playing it off.
yeah. I know. Well, for me, back home in Barbados, only a few trainers. Yeah, only a few trainers will clock their horses, and some wouldn't.
I want to ask you: are those the winning trainers?
Mm, no, nah, nope. Mm-mm. Nah. Some
Hey,
trainers, like I mean, I see some trainers who clock horses and they aren't as successful as some, and then you have some who don't clock horses and they're successful. But
wow,
that's just how it goes sometimes.
wow, that's interesting. By the way, good night and season greetings to you, Leroy Trotman. I'm not being rude to people when they say stuff. I don't want to talk over the guests and say stuff. So perhaps I just want to put that out there to the audience. TeShawn.
Hmm.
So big question, big burning question, man. When is your next mount?
I can't I can't say. I'm not quite sure. because they say, this is the championship meet right now, and the big boys are in town. So I just use this time to just better myself, learn the ins and outs of the racetrack as well. Yeah, because as I say, I learn every day out here. I learn something new pertaining to riding, and like when the other riders come, like the day our horses have to breeze. Obviously, the race they ride will pass through the barn, so they will share some knowledge as well. So just taking this time to better my craft.
Now, does that make you, because I was speaking to some people, but does that make you frustrated, or it just kind of you just kind of take it all in stride and you're just kind of learning as you go along and
Yeah, it doesn't get me frustrated. It benefits me learning from these guys, because as I say, up here is a whole different setting to back home in Barbados.
hmm
Yeah, so I just use the time like to learn because I prefer take my time now and learn, as time go by, rather than get an opportunity. You don't know, like you get an opportunity, you don't know the ins and outs of the races and you mess up. So I
but
just
yeah,
use.
I thought messing up was part of the game. You got to mess up a few just in order to learn. You know,
You would mess up, yeah, but I mean, if you could if you could learn certain things, you would mess up less, I would say.
true, true. Makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, you would mess up less.
Now, this is quite interesting. I'm glad we're having this conversation because there's a lot of jockeys and who probably would have had a swollen head because you've done so well in Barbados, and then you made that move to the States, and now
Hmm.
you got a second fiddle. You got to take a step backwards. A lot of guys with a big swell head will probably say, "Man, they're getting back to Barbados because this ain't work," and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But of course, that doesn't move you.
No, it never moved me because trust me, there in Barbados, I struggled so hard before I became successful. I struggled so hard in Barbados when I first started out riding. I mean, it was so
Mhm.
tough. And I always say to Sean, you sacrifice and come too far, you can't stop now. You gotta get something out of this here. I have to get something out of this. And then I
Can
had
you
my
share a little bit about that struggle?
yeah, like when I first started out riding, there were I would like carry horses through the paces for some of the good trainers in Barbados, and when the time come, I don't get the ride. So basically, you come like, all right, you do all the hard work, and someone else come and reap your sweets, right? Yeah, I experienced a lot of that in the beginning when I first started out riding in Barbados, and sometimes when you do get a ride, the horse ran good. So for instance, the horse ran third, and it ran third with tougher company, but when the horse get a drop in class now, I go with the company it really belongs to, and some trainers or owners will take you off the horse and put up someone else, thinking that they could do a better job. When you can do just a you could do a good job just like them, but then think that another change of riding now gonna make the horse win, and all it is that the horse just get a drop in class where it belongs, and the horse come and wins, but it win without you.
But you've grown to understand the reasons why that happens,
Yeah,
and
yeah, I grow to
so
understand, and yeah, that the beginning stages it was rough though, I must say, and it just get better as time go by. It's always hard in Barbados. It's hard, and I find you see if you don't have anyone to help you, yeah, even worse.
no, so you said if you don't have someone to help you, but who was that someone for you?
Like I would say, like small owners. Like it all
hmm
started out for me. I started riding a lot of horses. I would exercise horses for a lot of good, successful trainers in Barbados, and they wouldn't give me the race they ride. And when I like ride for like a smaller owner, usually what's happened is when you're a small owner in Barbados, you won't really got like a superstar horse. So not much people will come to you and ride and want to ride your horse. So it's for you now to take that horse and try to work a miracle with it, and I was fortunate enough to do that on many occasions.
Did you win on a 99 to 1 or something like that?
Yep, I was about to
Then
mention him too. A horse called Tiger's Nest.
how the hell does that horse go off at 99 to 1 and they let you ride it and then you win? Like, how does that
Yeah,
happen?
what happened in the kid, like the horse, he had his issues going on with him, and he dropped real low in class, and the owner at the time just gave him away, so he ended up with a small owner, and the owner got him right, especially for that race, I should say. And he had me to Sean, you interested in riding Tiger's Nest with me? I said, yeah, sure, because honestly, I know he was a better horse than them, but he had the issues, unfortunately. So he ended up like where he belonged, dropped so low in class, and then what worked out in his favor as well is that he had a handicap weight in the race as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I I
You
say,
took
what,
advantage of that.
Sean? Yeah, oh yeah, I did my homework and say, well, the horse to beat was the same horse I caught on the box. What was the name of the horse? Silver in the Valley. Yeah, and I say at the handicap, I think I could stick in this horse head, and it worked out perfect.
That's pretty cool, man. That's a really good
Yeah.
story. Not
Mhm.
many people can say they won on a 99 to 1
Yeah,
shot.
that day that horse paid $323.25.
Oh, wow, man.
Mhm.
Now, in Barbados, are you allowed? Is there any codes that you break if you tell one of your buddies, hey, look, you know what, bet this horse
Well,
$20 to win.
probably other riders, but me, I don't gamble. Yeah, I don't gamble in no form or fashion.
That's good. That's good, and I'm glad that you said it, just in case anyone was wondering. So you
Yeah,
know
I don't
you clear
gamble.
that up right away.
Mhm.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, I don't gamble at all.
Yeah, quite interesting. That's the part of the sport that a lot of people are more interested in as well.
In the gambling aspect of it.
Yeah, of course.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah, I
now
don't gamble.
after winning on that 99 to 1, did it
Mhm.
help you in any way to get other rights?
Other month.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the funny thing about that, right, is that I won on that 99 to 1 on December the 11th, right? I won my first double, yeah, for the same owner and trainer. Yeah, 99 to 1 was Tiger's Nest, and then the last race was on Right on Time on December the 11th. And the next race day, I had like six or seven rides. I had a whole lot of rides though after, and unfortunately, I fall. Yeah, I had a fall, and it put me out for 3 months. And that was actually the first day jockey ran in Barbados as well, Boxing Day.
I think I
Yeah.
remember that. I think I remember that time.
Mhm.
I believe that's when Sean Hall was training the horse, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
remember
would
that
never
time.
forget that day. Yeah, and on the same Boxing Day, Jockler won, and another horse that I was supposed to ride called Sativa, she won as well. But Jockler won, when she won, that was like a cuff in the stomach, man. I would never forget. I went to the hospital crying. Yeah, it was in the back of that ambulance, and I would never forget. I was just there crying and can't believe, like, as I say, like after struggling so hard in Barbados, you know you have a nice horse, you're getting on it on the mornings, which you're seeing Jockler, and you get your fall. Usually when you get a fall, another rider will get the horse. You will come and ring with it, and sometimes you never get back that horse. But I was lucky enough to get her back at the right time too, because I wanted Tommy Pierce with her as well, and I wanted diamonds, and that will really count.
Pretty cool, man. So
Hmm.
you're not only a talented writer, but you're a little bit fortunate. Really fortunate to
I
get back
call
on
it
the
bless.
horse. Yeah, that's right. Oh, blessed. You're highly blessed. So yeah, big up, man. Yeah, but highly blessed. That's right.
Hmm.
Correct. Now, you know, uh, talent is something else. You can't teach talent. Talent is talent, man.
Hmm.
Talent is something that everybody wish that they had, and in doing what you do in horse racing, I guess the trainers will have the eyes on you a little bit. Is it important that you get your word out there too as well? Because I mean, 4 or 5 years in the U.S. As a matter of fact, how long do you plan on staying in the U.S. for? You plan on
Well,
staying here for a while, or what?
I get my work visa that I have, the work permit. I'm
Mhm.
allowed 5 years in the US. Yeah.
And then you renew it, or how does that
Yeah, then I
work?
renew it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, is there any clauses in there? Do you have to be a certain way or whatever, or you just when the time is up, you go in with maybe a trainer or owner or whoever, and you get it renewed? How does that work?
Yeah. It's pretty easy to renew it as well. Yeah, you just go and then you renew it for like mm, I can't say the exact amount how much, but it's not much either to renew it.
I'm just trying to understand so that other jockeys who might be wishing for the same opportunity will understand how it works, and they
Mm-hmm.
can also have a chance or at least an option, so they would know, hey, look, I can take the same route, or I can whatever, right? So is it predominantly you who's making these moves, or is it the trainer or someone else?
Which move? You
For
mean
you for the renewing of the license, for the permit and so forth.
well the renewal that would be my decision if I want to renew it. Yeah, but the getting the work for me that was Safi's part.
Okay, so you'll
Yeah,
have to be you'll renew it, but you'll have to have someone who you're working with or for, right?
yeah, mm-hmm.
And if that and just to be clear, and if there's someone else out there, that can also happen and go in that direction, another trainer or
Yeah,
someone else.
mm-hmm.
Okay, pretty cool. So just so that it's pretty clear. Um, what else can we talk about? I know that you won several races in Barbados.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking a route that a lot of the good jockeys would probably take. It's a big move for you.
Yeah,
Do your
very.
family embrace it, and how do they treat you? And do you have uh, their blessings and so forth?
Yeah, my family supportive. Yeah, I like you got some down days, as I say, you move away from home, you miss everything. So days that I having when I having a bad day, I will I'll call home and just let your family know you. Well, today is a rough day, and they will always motivate me, say, well, TeShawn, don't worry. The beginning is always be the hardest, You're being true words, so you gotta stick it out. And it's saying that you always wanted to. So just simple words, just words of encouragement is sometimes all you need. Let anybody throughout life, Everybody's got a down there, but
I,
on the
I
other
wanted
hand,
to ask you that question is
mm-hmm,
because you know being a jockey, now you find yourself more with obviously with full respect, no disrespect here, but now you
mm-hmm,
find yourself in a very similar role as an exercise rider. Is that
mm-hmm.
fair to say?
Yeah, I don't mind you saying so. As I said, me like in the position I'm in right now, like just exercising, it doesn't phase me because as I say, I use it to benefit myself, just learning the ins and out of the track and what's not. I guess it's all how you look at it. Yeah, like for me, it benefits me. Some other riders might say, "Oh, I'm not a gallop rider, I'm a race day jockey," but it's all how you take it. Like, what are you going to benefit from it? What you want to benefit from it?
And do you have a plan? And maybe say within 8, 9, 10 months, and do you have numbers that you have? Do like I often get these questions. At home, me and the wife, we talk about this stuff. So putting things on the wall and
Right.
seeing it is important. Is that something that you put on the wall and say, hey, look, within 6, 7, 8 months, I want to be doing this. Maybe perhaps be able to ride in a few couple races, and then allowance maybe 5, maybe 2 year, 2, 3 years, maybe a stake race,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even. And if it comes even earlier than
Earlier.
that, you say, hey, look, that's even success there as well.
Well, I start setting like small goals. As I say, I just move up here in October. So my one of my main goals right now is to better myself. Because as I say, here's a whole different ball game to back at home in Barbados. My main focus right now is learning the track, learning the ins and outs, and just bettering my craft. That's the most important thing right now that I'm mostly focusing on. Yeah, that's one of the first goals I set for myself.
Yeah, I would say that's good. Also say keep working, get stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sell yourself short,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of jockeys, and I see a lot of jockeys, and I see some jockeys do very well, and see how hard they work. I can give you many examples, but I don't really want to
Call
point
any
out
names.
anyone
Mm-hmm.
exactly. But there's a few jockeys that I'm very happy and excited to see the progress of them. Um, there's some from different areas. As a matter of fact, I'm not even scared to say the names because I watch. It haven't been long, but Jose Campos. Um, I he wasn't known around Woodbine, but I've seen this guy work really hard, and I see that he's progressing. You can
Mm-hmm.
always see from see what they're doing. But anyways, that's just one of the
Mm-hmm.
ones that I like to see. He works really hard, especially when he's on a horse. He gives it its all.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
that's right. That's correct. Now, speaking of that, is Safi? Is he impressed with your with the results so far and how you're working, and does he like what he's seeing now that you've made that move to the U.S. of A?
Yeah. I would say he's happy, yeah. Based off of his the way he speaks to me about certain things and what's not. And like any area that I need some work in, he would tell me about to Sean. When you get chance you can ask like Irad or one of the other big riders. And there's like certain questions that he wouldn't really know per se for himself. He would encourage me to ask one of the other riders, but if it's something that he could share the knowledge with me with, he would then tell me.
I find that that you jockeys and you guys are very skilled, and it's just having the opportunity, having the confidence from the trainers and perhaps even the owners
Hmm.
to give you that shot. I watched like Elijah Greenidge ride. I guess he has a lot of confidence, um, but it's just having the opportunity, to
Yeah.
ride better horses. I mean,
Hmm.
you can't win on bad horses, right? Is that fair to
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, correct. You can't win on bad horses. And something that Safi actually brought to my attention a few weeks ago. You see it, Tashawn, that he used I read and the same John Velasquez as an example, right? And he told me, Tashawn, these are some very good riders, right? But he brought up the Equibase, showing me how many races those guys win. But the funny thing is that those same riders they lose more than they win too.
Hmm.
And a lot of people will only see the success, but no one see how many times they lose races.
That's true. That's true.
And I say that to say this, like something you always tell me too. The more you ride, the better you're gonna get.
That is true. I mean,
Yep.
to be
The
honest,
more you
I've
ride,
heard that
the better you're
from
gonna
other
get.
jockeys as well.
Hmm.
And I mean, riding amongst other company as well too. Not just only the same people, the same track, same horses, whatever, over and over, but riding amongst different company.
Yeah. And when you ride the most good riders, it forces you to get better. Because if you don't get better, you're gonna get left behind.
That's true. That's true.
So
Now, that's true. That's true. I agree. I agree 100%. Do you have a
mhm,
bucket list for now? I mean, Barbados. Now you've made that move and you've gone transition over to the USA.
mhm,
So you must have a list of things that you would like to accomplish. I mean, there's a lot of jockeys from Barbados, but there's a lot of jockeys also that perhaps not even haven't even won a stake race. Uh, went with that transition, you know, what's your bucket list like?
Well, one, I will always say, like, from here, I would really love, as my career, as I go through life and my career and what's not, I would love to win at least a Breeders' Cup for sure and get a shot at the Kentucky Derby.
I'll remember that because it's going to be on record. It's going to be here for life. That
Mm-hmm.
TeShawn Hazelwood is saying these things, and maybe I don't know how soon it will come, but perhaps years from now we can always go back to the tape and say
Yep.
there it was.
Mm-hmm.
There it was. Let's hope that
Yeah.
you continue to work on that and continue to
That
gain
would be a
more and more
dream come true
success.
because not much people make it to the Breeders' Cup either or the Kentucky Derby.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
that would be a
Correct.
dream come true.
It doesn't always happen for everyone. And by
Mm-hmm.
the way, only, with 12, 13 horses in a race is only going to be one winner too as well. So,
Yep.
these things don't always happen and doesn't work out too well for everyone.
Yeah.
So all in all, you're happy. You're good in the U.S. I mean, just so people know that you're okay. You're doing all right.
Yeah. I'm doing good. I enjoy it here. I love the professionalism. As I said, the hardest thing about being out here is just being away from the family. But otherwise than that, I'm good.
Now, before we we get going, it's been 1 hour since we've been talking.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk and talk forever, but we don't want to overstay our welcome and say things that you're not supposed to say, right? But I want to ask you about riding horses in the U.S. Versus Barbados. Are you
Barbados.
making decent money now? Like, is it because a lot of times people
Yeah.
tell me things. It's like, Derek, don't fool yourself. This and that. I know the truth and all that. Are you making decent money or decent enough money you can save from what you're doing?
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Compared to Barbados, yeah, whole big difference out here. Yeah, so
And go
I'm
ahead.
listening.
Go
Sorry to
ahead. Go
cut
ahead.
you.
I'll let you continue.
I was saying like working out here, you can make a living working out here, yeah. And the people that come up here and will say, "Oh, I work." You come into US, you don't make no money. I can't speak for them, but I can speak for me. But it's all about what you do with your money as well. Yeah, what you do with your money as well. So for me, it working out for me. Yeah, you just gotta find. Yeah, I don't put my heart where you can't reach it.
Mm.
I just live a plain and simple life. Go to work, back home, talk to the family. And that's it.
Oh, hey, look, that's a very good way to approach it within the first month, 2, 3 months of living abroad from your family. Let's
Mm-hmm.
hope that you can continue that.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
you know, let's hope so. Well, is there anything you want to put out there? I mean, for your fans or family out there, people in Barbados watching and so forth. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would just like to say to all my friends, family, and my fans, that I'm gonna make y'all proud. Yeah, that's what I have to say.
That's all you got to say. You're just gonna make
Yeah,
them
I'm gonna
proud.
make y'all proud.
Now, before we go, when you finally get that good ride and you win your first race, well, it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
happen. Nobody who's won several races like you've done in Barbados already, a champion and all that stuff. I mean, you're not gonna stay without a win forever. So when that happens, there's gonna be a lot of commotion, a lot of excited people. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Bajans, what I find a lot about Bajans, they real supportive for when the Bajan riders head abroad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they always happy to see we do well. Yeah.
Oh, right. That's right. Oh, I almost forgot, and I wanted to ask you this. This is a key question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you How do you feel about what like Kent Lane? He's been doing a pretty good job in promoting a lot of the jockeys and the guys working abroad who are from Barbados.
Yeah.
How does that make you guys who live abroad feel that there's someone who has your back, is always
Yeah, that
promoting. You
mm-hmm.
know, how do you feel
This,
about that?
yeah, it feels good at least to know, that you're not forgotten. That back home in Barbados, where you come from, they're still rooting for you. Yeah, and they still have your best interest at heart. Yeah, it feels good. Like, well, for me,
Would you say that that for persons like that to continue being very supportive? I know there's other people now who are doing many other things. Would you say to continue and to
yeah,
continue to promote
yeah,
the
I think he
sport and
should.
promote
Yeah,
you guys?
what Kent Lane does is some really good stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
I
pretty
think he should
cool.
continue. He's doing well.
Well, we say he's doing well. Are you saying he's doing well in terms of that you should get some more promotion and sponsorships and make this into a bigger and better thing for you for
Yeah,
you guys?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, cause I mean, all the information with all the riders abroad. I mean, can't I don't know how he gets the information, but he's on it, and he puts it out there for everyone to see.
Well, I can tell you one thing. He's very persistent. He calls, he texts, and everything else. That's what he does. And he
Yeah.
just makes sure that he gets his answer. So that's a really good sign of someone who's very passionate about what they
Yep.
do.
He's very passionate.
Yes, definitely. I know
hmm
you're gonna miss all the commotion on Boxing Day. I know you're gonna miss all the festivity because the racing in Barbados is completely different from the U.S. There's
Yeah.
nobody in the U.S. who's standing around the track, and you
Mm-mm.
have all those people watching you and
Yeah.
shouting and screaming at you. So it's gonna be a different atmosphere for a while, but I'm pretty sure you'll be all right, right?
Yeah. The racing in Barbados is just different. As I say, the fans are way closer to the racing and what's not compared to the US. Yeah. Although I'm out here, I still keep track of the races back at home as well. I still tune in every time races run. Yeah, I keep posted all the time.
Pretty nice, pretty nice. I mean, you have to because if you're gonna go back there in March, you're gonna have to do a bit of homework, right?
Yeah, the funny thing is that although I'm out here, I still do homework like I'm in Barbados. It's just a habit.
Why? Why are you doing that?
It's just a habit. Yeah, and plus too, I've got a lot of free time as well.
Okay,
Yeah, so I just sometimes the entries will get sent to my phone, and I'll just run through the entries, go and watch replays, just find something to do.
hey, look, man, I want you to continue to keep working. I'll be looking to see when you get that next mount, and we'll be
hmm
looking forward to seeing you ride more in the future. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know what else I can say, but I just want to say right now, thank you for coming on this platform. Thank you for sharing some information, and thank you for giving out so much wonderful information to not only me but also the audience out there. All right.
yeah. I want to say thanks for having me as well, Derek. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. Come back anytime. If you're bored or whatever, just hit me
hmm
up. If
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
have a slot filled, I will definitely put you in, and we can get going. We can talk about your first win once it
hmm
happens. Is
Yeah.
that fair? Can we do that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, after my first minute, yeah, we can have a talk.
All right. Well, we do that, and maybe you can pass the word on to some of the people you work with, and maybe they can jump on here, and we can have a little word here and there.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, there you go. That's ladies and gentlemen, that's TeShawn Hazelwood, man. TeShawn, thank you again, man.
All right. Thanks for having me as well, Derek.
No worries, man. You take care.
All right. Take care.
All right. TeShawn Hazelwood, y'all. He's doing well. He's doing all right. Think he's a fine guy. He's very confident. He knows the game. I'm pretty sure you guys got to look out there and keep watching what he's doing. He will be all right, man. Um, Before I go, let me just put this out here because someone is saying, "Good night, Mr. Haley and Mr. Hazelwood. I've been around the track for a very long time. My question is, every jockey needs an agent to do TeShawn. Do TeShawn have one? Well, TeShawn is going to see this, and I hope that he can answer that for you. I'm not sure. I'll check you out and see who it is that's putting this up, and maybe he can get in contact with you. I don't know if he has an agent, I don't know if he needs one. I don't know his situation, but I'm pretty sure if you want, you can send me a message. I will pass it on to him, or if you know him directly, you can talk to him, and he can tell you exactly his situation, and perhaps you can go from there. Maybe you're an owner, maybe a trainer. I'm not sure, but please go ahead and pass the information, or reach out to TeShawn directly. All right, and he'll be able to answer that. Well, that's it, y'all. I think we're going to end it right there, and until next time. All right.